Welcome to this course on computer vision. In this video, we're going to talk about some of the course outcomes that I expect students to achieve throughout this course. I'm also going to talk about the different chapters of the course and the different methods of learning. Also, I want to just encourage you to join the Discord server so that you can participate in discussions and kind of do show and tell on different projects that you're working on. And also, I'll be able to answer your questions, or other students can answer your questions when they come up. So with that, let's jump into the course outcomes. The first outcome is I want to provide students with a solid base of introductory computer vision. So by the end of this course, you'll be able to say that you understand the fundamentals of computer vision and how models work, and how key computer vision tools, how the underlying structure could work. And then also I want to enable students to develop their own computer vision model pipeline from scratch. So that means build your own computer vision models and combine them into some useful application that we're going to get into later in the course. This course is split up into 5 different chapters. The first chapter is just an introduction. In this introduction, we're going to talk about how to use Google Colab, which is the programming tool that we're going to use to code in Python throughout this course. We're also going to talk about some of the basic libraries that you need, including NumPy and PyTorch. I'm going to do a little bit of a tutorial throughout the whole course on different programming kind of frameworks so that you can get ready for different assignments. The next chapter is all going to be about working with images. And basically, we're going to talk about the backbone of images, which is how the underlying data of images works, and also some basic programming tools and mathematical frameworks for working with images. The next chapter is going to be talking about the model that's most common in computer vision, which is neural nets. Neural nets are very popular, and so we're going to talk about the math behind neural nets and how they're structured, and how they could be used in different scenarios as well. Chapter 4 is going to be combining both a modeling approach with what we know about images to create computer vision, to talk about computer vision models. One of the most popular is a convolutional neural net. A convolutional neural net combines the strength of training a neural net with the way to process an image through convolution. And it essentially takes a raw image and it will decompose it into feature maps to make predictions. Now, the last chapter of this course is just going to be your final project. Your final project is going to be a 2-part model pipeline that involves 2 different convolutional neural nets. The first is going to take images and detect faces on those images. And the second is going to take the faces that you've detected and predict what emotion is shown on those faces. And the end result is going to be a full pipeline that can just take images or video and return to you some kind of emotion detection. You might find this project useful, but it's also a really good stepping stone to other projects that you might be interested in doing in computer vision as well. The way the learning is structured is such that there are going to be lots of different ways of developing your computer vision skills. The first is a set of theory videos. These are animated videos with voiceover explanations that are going to go through different mathematical concepts and different outcomes that you would want from computer vision models or just general image techniques. Along with the theory videos, there's going to be theory readings, which summarize the videos and then also add some extra details, especially with math-heavy concepts. To help you with actually applying the concepts that you're learning, there's also going to be a set of programming tutorials. In these, I'm going to share my screen as I program in Google Colab and give you helpful tips and also go over basic concepts before you start on some assignments. The coding assignments are intended to allow you to apply what you've been learning in the theory videos and readings. The tutorials are going to also enable you to do well on the assignments. The assignments start off pretty small, but then by the end they get a little bit more complicated when we get to neural nets and convolutional neural nets. These assignments are all self-graded, And so at the end of each section, there's going to be a quiz where it's going to ask if you've actually completed the assignment, and then it's also going to have a few other questions from the theory. The quizzes are very short, and you can retake them as many times as you want, but you have to get 100% on them to continue. And finally, there's your final project, which we've already discussed, and there's going to be a lot more details later on in the course. I just want to remind you to join the Discord server. Hopefully you can get your questions answered, and also that you can answer other people's questions. With that, good luck with the course.